those of you that are preparing to go to the university, this guy believed that school is only a trap that was used by the white man to enslave Africans. And today, he's here to tell us why.
Hi, my name is Ihe, the Light of Africa. I strongly know that the Western education in Africa is an instrument or a colonization tool the white man bring to Africa to enslave African youth, to make African youth totally dependent consumers. And today I am here to tell you why.
Bro, how can you say something like this, that Western education is only a tool for enslavement?
Western education in Africa is the introduction of poverty in Africa. Western education in Africa is the introduction of joblessness in Africa. I tell people that before white man came to Africa, there is no one in Africa who is jobless. Every young man have a job. It's either he's a farmer, or he's a palm wine tapper, or he's a blacksmith, or he's an orthopedic surgeon. Whatsoever reason, the young boy is already independent. At age 18, 20, he's already planning of how to get married because he's have a job, he has a financial work he's doing. Introduction of education in Africa automatically breeded numerous dependent youth in Africa. And why is it so? Is because the education that was available to Africa was not actually designed in a way to solve problem. It was actually designed in a way to actually breed people who will pursue memory and not actually pursuing solutions to people's problems. Because the reason why we study, the reason why we go to school is to solve human problem. The reason why we do all kind of learning. If I'm going to do apprenticeship today, if I'm going to learn trading today, if I'm going to school today, all I'm doing as a human being is how do I improve my environment? How do I look around my environment and improve my environment to solve the problem in my environment? Unfortunately, the education system that was bring to Africa was not meant to have functional knowledge. Functional knowledge is the knowledge that we have direct application to the environment where you are coming from. So why the white people are reading to solve human problem, Africans are reading to get certificates. Unfortunately, certificates don't solve problem in a nation. Certificates expand poverty in a nation, widen dependency, and make the youth irretrievably dependent consumers. So the assignment is keep the youth busy, give them memory, and while the people are reading, pursuing certificates on that project, the youth are being empowered. They now put incentive there. The incentive is the trap, because when you want to capture an animal, you have to, if you make a trap, you have to put maybe the few meat or the things that will actually attract the animal to that place. So money was actually put there as the incentive. So those who actually put the interest in that memory education and came out at first class, those people are being paid a little amount of money to encourage others to continue pursuing that memory education that have no physical application. And then when somebody eventually graduates, you now ask the person, young man, you said you study pharmacist. Yes. Can you produce drug? Are you producing? He doesn't have anyone he's producing. All our drugs is being imported from India. And we said we are graduating millions of pharmacists in Africa. You now discover the pharmacists come out and start going to sell drug. This drug is something that somebody who did not even go to university at all went to a Tanzania market, learned for 6 months, and he begin to sell drug. And then somebody went and studied for 5 good years, come out and begin to sell drug. I am reading chemical engineering. I entered chemical engineering, read chemical engineering for 5 good years. I come out, which chemical can you produce? You are helpless. You now went and start mixing paint. The same paint as somebody that did not go to school at all. Somebody went and learned how to mix paint. For within 6 months, the person is already missing paint. But we are graduating numerous numbers of chemical engineering graduates every year. The same way you come to engineering if the white man education system was actually meant to solve human problem, the white man would have been building a car and he will be building a car. The white man would have been building the road. You will be building road by yourself. The white man would have building phone. This phone I have, you would have been building this phone. But the reason why you will know that Western education is useless in Africa is that if there are 10 roads today leading to your village, 10 of them is constructed by Arab or Julius Berger. Because they know the education system they give you have no functional knowledge. The civil engineers you are giving certificates, and the problem that it is better not to know than to know wrongly. The worst form of learning is not even ignorance, it's to know wrongly. Because when you know wrongly, you must have acquired pride, you must have acquired ego that will block the new inflow of knowledge in you. I tell people that the place to find the most stupid people in Africa is in the university. You see the university lecturers, doctors, professors, a professor that have taught for 20-something years in the school. This man is not asking himself, I spent over 20-something years in school. I did my nursery, I did my primary, I did my secondary, I did my university, I did my doctorate degree, I now did my professor. I have taught in this school for 20-something years. And aside the mathematics I am solving in the class, and aside the English and all the things I read out inside the class, which problem can this thing solve? Which What problem can this thing solve in the society? If the government stop paying me the normal salary they are paying me, you will discover I am helpless, I am useless, because the knowledge I have is not functional knowledge. It's not knowledge that solves the problem within the environment. Instead, the knowledge this young man have is a knowledge of oratory. And unfortunately, English language don't solve problem. It was designed in a way that they'll come and ask you, here is a chemical engineering student, they will ask me, how many batteries and will you miss to get a power bank? And how many volts will you connect it to? The head will say 8 batteries. Hey, this is a very intelligent person, they will mark it for you. And on the day they are producing that power bank, if you come close, they will kill you. Because when you come to the Western education, you discover Western education, the West creates secrecy of knowledge. And the reason why they create secrecy of knowledge is because the assignment is, let the wise, the people who are talented are taking away. When you begin to hear about things called patents, an average African man don't know what is patent. Patent is what gives you right of ownership of a particular something. For instance, I manufacture this phone. And though I'm going to go and get patents of this phone to make sure that I am the only person who is producing this patent. Somebody manufactured Pepsi and secured patent over it. So the people who produce these goods, who produce this, the word inventors, they created this value, but they want all the mass of the people to be using this thing without producing it. They want the whole mass of the followers to be using it, because when you come in a society spectrum is made of 3 types of people: the wise, the foolish, and the mass of followers. The wise are calibrated as 10% wise. The foolish are calibrated as 10% intentionally stupid and foolish, and then 80% mass of followers. And the society is going to decide where this 80% mass of followers is going to follow. If they are incentivized in such a way to follow the wise people, the mass of followers will follow the wise. If they are incentivized in such a way to follow the foolish, the mass of followers will follow the foolish. When you come to the West, you discover the West creates secrecy of knowledge. So you see people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they are the people that are going to manufacture the value. They are very, very intentionally talented. They manufacture the phone, the brain chips, they manufacture agriculture, this thing. But they don't want the 80% mass of followers to come and compete with them. They want a system by which the 80% mass of followers will come and be using these goods they manufactured. And so how do they do it? They go and empower the other 10% intentionally foolish, intentionally stupid. Those are the comedians, those are the footballers, those are the musicians you see, Flavor, Whiskey, all of them. And they are going to project them on the media. And why they project them on the media with naked girls, the mass of followers will be following those stupid, foolish people. And why the mass of followers is following those people, then the 10% intentionally wise will create the utilities, secure patent over it for the exploitation of that thing. Education is one of the ways these people create secrecy of knowledge. Because when you hear that the Bible says that the fruit, the immoral fruit that you will never eat, is don't eat the fruit of knowledge. Education is a simple example of that. It hides knowledge from the people, numb instinct, derails thinking, and then what it does is promoting of memory from that place. So we keep on producing thousands of African graduates every year who now come out and they become helpless. And that is the reason why an average African young man today is struggling to marry. Because when you tell an average African young man at age 25, 26, 27 years, now when are you getting married? He says, don't even go there. Why? Because he has gone to the university, Unizik, UNN, and spent 5 years, come out. He doesn't even have up to 500k in his account. So he's frustrated because the education system that's supposed to structure him to be a problem solver has created him to be a problem. And so the boy is struggling with finances. That is why I tell people that university has breeded more criminals in Africa than Osama bin Laden and Osisi Kanko. Why? Because when you breed numerous number of youths every year that are jobless, a jobless man is when you hear devil, when you hear Ekwensu. Ekwensu is a hungry man, a man who is healthy but he doesn't have food. That's Ekwensu. So number one, the youth can no longer be productive, free from financial dependency, and then they are running away from marriage because they couldn't take responsibility, because there has been an education system that wasted all their youthful lifespan. And so the young girls, it has also make the many young girls in our society praying for a husband. Why the people who are praying for husband are struggling for survival. And this is one of the reasons why we are struggling with morality today. Because morality will always override survival. A man who is hungry does not hear any other word until he eats. And so when somebody is hungry, when you have produced this massive number of the youth in Africa, who you call graduates, and the people are carrying certificates up and down looking for a place to get job, then you cannot come and tell the people to live a righteous life. You know you have breeded criminals in the society, and inevitably there are going to be criminality in that society. So I'm not telling you to abandon the Western education. No, what I'm telling you is that we need to restructure it to make the youth productive, no longer making the youth beautiful speakers of English language. So that the youth will now be people who will now, I studied chemical engineering. Yes, I come out, this is the acid I'm producing. I produce the acid that people put in their cars. I produce the battery in people's power bank. I produce this chemical. Yes, I studied pharmaceutical engineering. At least I'll go to vitamin C. Now I love vitamin C. You'll be manufacturing, I'll go to paracetamol. Understand where I'm coming from? That education will not come from productivity. I studied electrical engineering. Yes, I'm on a process of building this camera that is videoing us. This is the way to make sure that when you come to that system, that was what Chinese did. They once have this kind of education we have, and they did what is called Chinese Renaissance. And Chinese Renaissance was a system by which they restructured their system. Automatically, the education become from productivity. And you know, education actually in the real sense is of two kinds. One is literacy dimension. Literacy dimension is when somebody have to teach you how to read and write. That's the secondary school dimension, and the primary and secondary school, when you have to learn how to read and how to write. Then if you are entering into the university, it should be that I want to build a car. So every book you gather that you will read will be the book you'll be reading until you start manufacturing that car. So on this process, you know that you are very, very focused on being productive. Whatsoever education that was actually breeded in giving people certificates has produced criminals in the society. And I can tell you without missing word that education is the fountain of corruption we have in our society today. When people are being trained to become dependent after education, automatically you are grooming people who will be catastrophic in the society. So I call on the restructuring of education system in our Renaissance to make it an education that solves problem. Bad people in the society. This is my submission for our education system. Thank you so much.
Wow. Usually I will have more questions to ask, but at this moment I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to ask. Whatever you think about his opinion, kindly indicate it in the comment section. And if you feel that this knowledge is valuable to you, you can share it to your family and friends, share it to your professors. Let them see a different perspective about the African educational system. This young man believes that it's a trap, and he has his evidence. You know, he said in the past Africans were not really poor, that young people owned farmlands and they could cultivate their own crops. They could make palm oil, palm wine. They had their own, they had a lot of things, right?
Yeah, no, it's not even a lot of things. You can literally see it that a young boy of 18 to 20 years in African olden days is already thinking about how to marry. And why is he thinking how to marry? It's because freely he has his barn of yam. He has maybe anything he's doing, he's already dependent, and everything he's using is manufactured in the society. The difference between the westernized people of our generation today and the ancient African ancestors that they says they are not civilized is that our ancient ancestors manufactures literally everything they use, from their bed to their house to the agbo. That's this thing they used to climb palm tree. To their hand fan to ogene to metals. Everything that they used, they manufactured it by themselves. This is our ancient ancestors. Now, the difference between the people that we claim that we are now civilized is that if I should follow you now to say, let me go to your room and remove everything in your room that is imported, you will now discover the contextual meaning of Adam was naked and God clothed him. You will now discover all your clothes in your room will vanish because they don't manufacture anyone from your village. The phone you are using to make phone will vanish. This microphone you are holding in my mouth will vanish. The cars your own car will vanish. The camera will vanish. Your bed will vanish. Your door will vanish. Everything in your
social media will vanish.
Social media will vanish. Thank you so much. You now discover that truly there was Adam who was naked, and God has availed himself to clothe Adam. So, and why is this so? It is because someone has availed Adam an education that makes Adam to be speaking beautiful English, solving calculation, taking honor in prestige. Because the problem becomes when we start taking honor in titles. Somebody come, he rob in a suit, I'm a professor. Before you know it, he enters into one level of English language. Speak. Then you now tell the professor, we are about to fight a war. You studied chemical engineering. How can you help us in manufacturing, even if it is bullet? Professor says, this is not what we are doing here, right here. He speak big English. Young man, this is not what we are talking about here. Nigeria is a country that we manufacture, that we import bullets. Do you know what it means? It means that when you import bullets from your enemies, it means your enemy does not even need gun to kill you. He can use otari, cane, and finish you. And why is this so? Because somebody has produced education system that is not solving problem. That is why you see people called Boko Haram. Boko Haram is saying Western education is a sin. I'm not promoting Boko Haram, but it is from this ideology of memory without solution, without solving problem, without improving the environment that enacted that hatred for Western education. It came. I can explain Western education as a farm for Euro-philosophical orientation and Western genocide on African culture and whitewashing. This is the simple truth. Number one, when you enter that Western education, they will make you to hate everything about the ways of your own father. You will now start seeing your father as an archaic man. You will now start seeing all the things, all the work your father did as you are doing it as a humble person. Who is a foolish man? A foolish man is a westernized education man who came home and his mother says, come, let us go to the farm. He says, oh, Dad, okay, my number, engineer.
What does it mean?
Eh?
Can you explain to the viewers who don't understand Igbo?
Okay, so the people don't understand Igbo. It means the person is now saying that he has overgrown farm work.
He wants to be an engineer.
And because he's an engineer, he's now seeing the work his father did as humility. That when I come to tap wine, it means I'm humble. When I come to do blacksmith, it means I'm humble. And this food is not even that. The one he says he studied, he could not solve any single problem out of it. During coronavirus, all nations were struggling to find a solution for it. They made lab, everybody was doing research, providing solutions and creating job opportunities. If you ask 70% of Nigerian girls, what do you study in the university? They are going to tell you either microbiology or mass communication. You studied, we have 70% of microbiology as girls. How many of them came up with a practical and told us, look at the cause of coronavirus, or at least look at our own experiment result on the solution to coronavirus? But all of them were saying, we studied microbiology. The microbiology they studied there is how to draw millipede and label millipede. And how to draw millipede and label millipede doesn't solve human problem. When coronavirus came, I studied microbiology, all of them went inside. We did not hear any. In fact, most of them carried Bible and began to tell people that the world is coming to an end, that everybody should prepare for end time. In a society where the whole world is finding solution to people's problem, to people's medical lab problem. The medical lab are making research, microbiologists are making research, chemical engineers are making research to find solution. Our own microbiology is here. Now, why that the world is coming to an end, we should prepare for end time. It means we have provided staff, we have provided a cook, we have given certificates to people who are just morons. So we are of the organic restoration of the ways of an African man to make African young boy to become productive, so that at the age of before highest 20-25 years, you pick a wife and then give birth and reproduce, because the joy of life is survival. I believe to give birth to children who will come and grow when you are still in your youthful strength. The problem we have today is that because an African man has been made dependent, the young man gets married at age 35. If you marry at age 35, before your first son comes to age 30, you are 65. You now see the reason why our ancestors don't reap the fruit of their labor. Because the children they suffer, that it took them so many years to get married, and before the children could now grow to come and start taking care of them, they are now ill. So the advice is, become dependent. Try all possible ways to become independent. So at age 25, 26, you are already married. Before the time you are getting to 50 years, you saw your son at 25. That's the thing they are doing today in football world. You see Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is at age 40 something. His side is already playing for the junior league. He's seen his survivor. This is the purpose of life. But at age 40 is still a starting time for an African man, because an education system has been availed to him, which make him impossible to see the finances to take care of a family. So I call for organic restoration of African man into practical education system, not memory education system. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, you've heard it yourself. I don't even know what to say right now, but whatever it is you think, indicate it in the comment section. What's your name again?
Ihedi, Light of Africa.
What's your real full name?
Nwebiem Ihedi. Ihedi means light exists.
Where are you from?
I'm from Enugu State, Oboka precise.
That's interesting. Are you a student?
I'm a student of Nnamdi Azikiwe University. I'm a graduate next year if it's successful.
Yeah, don't worry, God will perfect everything. Whatever you think about this young man, I think he's just.
Many people will say he's condemning education, but he's still a student. Now, get the difference between I'm saying abolish and restructure. I did not say that the Western education should be abolished. I said it should be restructured to make it productive. Understand? So I'm a student because I have to pass through the Western institution to discover the graving impact that is being done there. So I have to be trained in that system to be able to see the fault. If you don't eat the food, you won't know that it is sour or it is not good. So I have eaten the fruit of the education, and I'm here to tell Africans that we need to restructure, not abolish. Thank you so much.
Critical thinker, independently challenging the status quo. Alright guys, it's your boy Lucky Udu. I'm still here traveling from state to state, telling stories of interesting people with interesting opinion, people who are going through extreme hardship, people that are very talented yet they are underlooked. This is my purpose, and this is what I've been doing for the past years now. Would you like to call your phone number for people who want to reach out to you?
Okay, my phone number is 080-622-92667.
Alright, they'll reach you on WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp, please. The call is always too much on WhatsApp. Thank you.
That's interesting.